Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of Tara Talks. I'm your host, Tara Babcock, here with Zoomin.tv Games, and this week we're going to talk about some Zerg strategy. Whew, that's better. Now I am supporting the Zerg because this week we are going to be talking about Zerg strategy. I am super stoked to teach you guys how to fast expand without dying to early harass. Let's jump into it. First, let's talk about the specifics of Zerg expanding if you're going against a Terran. Hatch first is optimal versus Terran. A drone scout is preferred, especially on smaller maps, and is sent out around 10 supply. This is really important as scouting for proxy barracks builds is key. Watch out though, these builds can be hard to scout as they're often confused for a CC first build. Keep your drone scout in the main base as long as possible and see whether or not he's going to pump out a CC or an orbital first. An orbital before a command center totally means he's proxying you. Watch out. If a proxy is indicated, send a second drone scout to check around your base for the barracks. If barracks are scouted and are not yet finished, send some drones to kill the workers building the barracks. If they do happen to be finished, put down a couple spine crawlers and build a few extra links to defend. Be ready for bunker denial too. And don't be afraid to pull drones too. You won't be as behind as they are as long as you can hold this push. Don't forget, spine crawlers do outrange bunkers, so don't worry too much if one does finish. If the Terran decides to expand early, don't worry, you're fine. Let the hatch finish and build a spawning pool. You can build one drone in between the hatch and the spawning pool though. Now it's time to talk about the dreaded ZVZ. This matchup is super micro intensive and kind of crazy. You can actually lose to a much lower level playing Zerg if you just make one mistake. It's pretty difficult. Just like against a Terran, a hatch first build is acceptable in a mirror match as well. Make sure to send out that drone scout though, as it is still necessary, especially on smaller 2-player maps where scouting is quicker. The scary things we need to watch out for against a Zerg player are early pool builds. We can still hatch first against these, but it is a little dangerous. Nothing we can't handle with a little bit of micro though. If you scout an early pool, make sure you build a spawning pool of your own. You can cancel the hatchery you already started making, or just don't make one at all. Continue drone production and build an overlord when you're at 18 out of 18 supply. Make sure you try to hide your drone scout in the main base of the Zerg opponent. It will come in handy a little bit later. Once your pool finishes, you can try building a spine crawler at the edge of their creep in their main base. Chances are they'll be way too busy microing lings in order to notice it, and at the very least they'll have to pull drones and stop mining in order to kill it. Be prepared to see his lings and drones streaming across the map. Once they enter your natural expand, pull all of your drones and use the mineral trick to surround his Zerglings. Don't know the mineral trick? If you command drones to go to a mineral patch, they actually lose unit collision and you'll be able to actually move through lings. Use this trick to surround the lings as they come into your main base. If your opponent runs out of your drone surround, you will have to fight using your drones at the mineral line. Make sure you're building lings as soon as larva permits though. This is another really cool use of the mineral trick. Collapse all of your drones into one nook of the mineral patch and use the attack command every couple seconds to hit them all at once. This will allow you to do maximal damage versus each ling, often even one-shotting each of them. In the case that your opponent brings drones to build spines on your creep, make sure you have at least 4 drones on each spine and the rest of the drones attacking the lings. This is the hardest aggression to defend against. Overlord placement is super important when going hatch first. Make sure that you do have vision of the path that he would need to travel in order to get into your base. I mean, you want to know when he's coming, right? This position also differs slightly depending on which map you're playing on. Alright, let's move on to the unique way you're going to have to play when faced against a Protoss opponent. Against a Protoss, the safest way to play greedy is build a pool first and then double expand after that. This is mainly because Protoss players will often try to block your expansion at your natural using a pylon. This can be easily dealt with as long as we have a pool and a couple links to utilize earlier in the game. These links can also come in handy if you're being cannon rushed or if he's going proxy gateway, making this a very safe but economical build. Build your spawning pool at 14 supply and try to put your hatchery down at 16 supply. Once you have another 300 minerals, you're going to want to put down another hatchery at your third. A drone scout in this matchup is not necessary. You'll just send your overlord to the natural of the opponent at the very start of the game. This will let you know whether or not the Protoss is expanding just in time. If your overlord scouts that your opponent is not expanding, immediately put down a gas geyser and research Zergling speed. This, in correlation with spine crawlers, will help you defend in case he decides to forget you on one base. If this happens, sack the third base and easily defend your other 2. Don't worry, you'll still be on double the working bases of your opponent and still be ahead. Use your initial links to scout for any other pylons or probes that might be around the map. Move them around often, put them at key locations such as Zolnaga watchtowers and in front of your opponent's base. It can be hard to scout early enough on a large 4-player map. In this case, if your drone scout doesn't get lucky with the first base that he checks out, make sure you put down a pool first. This concludes the show for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to be a greedy Zerg. Next week, we'll learn how to do it with Terran. As usual, post your comments down there, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and smile, because that's obviously the best thing to do. See you guys soon! Bye! Would you guys like to see the full episodes of Terra Talks, including the gaming news? Would you guys like to see more episodes of Terra Talks? Would you guys like to see just more top 5s, top 10s, and awesome action in gaming in general? Guys, check out youtube.com/zoomingames. You will love it, trust me. Zoomin.tv Games is the best. See you guys there.